Hey there, hope you're doing well. And today we're going to do something a little different than I've done before. And we're going to talk about basically a glide bait box. I'm going to go into some details, and this may end up getting broken into a two-parter depending on how long it goes. I won't go too crazy all in one top shot, but just a little bit about how I got into glide bait fishing. It started in 2013. I was fishing a Bass Open as a co-angler up on Oneida Lake, and Brandon Polnick was fishing next to us. And I was catching him on a drop shot out in the middle, and I had one color that was just catching fish, and he and the other guys on my boat are like, nobody was really catching stuff. So he starts throwing a negotiator along the edge of the riprap. I'll show you. This isn't the exact bait, but this is the one that he was using, that Roman made. And he lost a absolute giant, and this was like before everybody knew what was going on. He was keeping it kind of quiet, and not everybody was talking about it, but it was kind of eye-opening because I had never seen anybody do that up north. So fast forward to that fall of 13, I won my fantasy football league that year, so I had a little extra cash to spend, and I'm like, I'm buying something that's kind of silly, something I might not spend the money on otherwise, and this is actually what I bought. It was $120 at the time. This is a Roman made negotiator. I caught a fish on it. My very first trip out on it was about a 2-pounder, little guy. And I've caught some other fish on it since then. I also don't throw it all that much anymore, but this sucker, it was cool. It's made of wood. Like, you can hear it's got that different clack. And this guy will always have a special place in my heart. Maybe I need to pick it up and throw it a little bit more. But that was the very first glide bait I ever had. And then after that, went fairly long without buying any other ones. I didn't really throw this that much. And it was the COVID year. So the FLW tour in, I think it was March, we got kind of shut down. Everybody was not able to fish. So I was fishing locally, fishing some local lakes. And I ran into my buddy, or a guy that became my good buddy, is Keith Thomas. You know, it's Black Talon Custom Lures. And he's telling me he's wrecking them on a glide bait. I'm like, I don't. At the time, I had this one glide bait. I didn't know what I was doing with it. I didn't know how you fished it for real. And that was what kind of pushed me then, after talking to him a couple times, seeing him on the water. I'm catching him on chatterbaits, square bills, like how I would normally fish. And I was doing pretty well, but like not the size and numbers he was talking about. So I finally, the one day when I'm out there, I asked him, I'm like, all right, what glide bait do I need to get? And he's like, get a Gancraft. It's a jointed ball, 178. This box is a mess. I know if you're Matt, you know who you are. He would not approve. He does not like my glide bait box. How I put everything just all in one spot and let them get all tangled up, and the hooks all get stuck together and tails get kind of smushed. But I don't know. The bass are going to eat it if they're going to eat it. So let's get this guy out here. I want to show you this one because I caught a lot of fish on this. If you're looking to get into the glide bait game, I would highly recommend this one. As Keith always says, it looks like a spaghetti noodle, and that's why it gets bit so much. It's easy for him to take down and swallow it up, and I almost got him undone here. There we go. So this guy right here is the Gancraft Jointed Claw 178. I don't even remember the color, to be honest. You can see it there. It's got teeth marks all over it. I've caught smallmouth, largemouth on this thing, and it straight gets bit. My biggest smallmouth I've ever caught in Pennsylvania was a 6'1", and it came on that bait right there. And that was actually with Keith. So after getting an idea of what was going on and what to use, I asked Keith, I'm like, come show me what the heck I'm doing. Like, let me hop in your boat. And we went fishing the one day, and he caught a bunch of big ones. I caught that giant smallie. But you see, it's kind of got a subtle action. This one sinks, it gets down there. But very, very good bait. Is there any other info I can give you on it? It says Style E15 SS. I don't know if it's slow sink, probably. It's a 178 jointed claw. So that guy, I got a couple of them. If you're looking to get into the swim bait game, that's what I would get. Those were my first two glide baits I ever had, and they did a good job for me over the years. I've caught quite a few fish on that Gancraft, and then After that, become buddies with Keith. He, at this time, was not actively making baits and selling them like he does now. If you want to get his baits, you can go on to his Facebook page. It's Black Talon Custom Lures. He has a Facebook page, and they're very hard to get. He does an awesome job making these baits, and they go very fast. So make sure you have your notifications on, and he'll be able to maybe give you might have a shot at getting one. But after becoming buddies with him, Keith made me one. And at the time, he was just making them out of wood. These weren't resin. So this is, I call it woody. This is the original one I got from him. You can see it says Black Talon 20 on it, if you can see that on the top. And this guy right here has caught, I don't know, I bet 100 bass I've caught on this one. And the biggest one I ever caught was the second fish I caught on it. It was in the fall. And that guy, it was 25.5 inches long. It was, I laid it on my floor and measured it out, and just an absolute monster, like 8-9 pounder, I would bet. For Pennsylvania, it's a freak. And that's the biggest one I've ever caught on this thing still. I've caught 7s I've weighed. I've caught a ton of 6s. I caught a couple 7s on this actually. And then 5s and smallies and largemouth. And I caught a male Pickwick on it. And this sucker, honestly, it doesn't come out unless it is tournament day at this point, because this guy, it's 4.3 ounces, somewhere in there. And it's just a really special bait at this point. Like, and this whole box, there's one bait I would swim for, and it's this one right here. So you can see it's taken its abuse. I've caught a lot of fish on it. I've bounced it off some rocks every once in a while, or hit a dock with it. But this guy, that's my baby. I would never give that one up. And like I said, I would swim for this sucker. So I think there's something with that wooden click too. It really draws me in. So I'm going to start going through these a little bit faster after this. That's those two. They were the swim baits I really got started with. And then let's see what else I got. I got another donk. This one, oh, that's, I don't know if I even said that. That's, I call it woody, but it's a donk is the style bait. This is one of his resin ones. This one he calls raw. It's unpainted. Again, it's a donk made by Black Talon. So we got that guy. And then what other one? What do we want to do next? Let's do, oh, this one's pretty. This is another Black Talon. This is another donk. I got 2 more of those in here that I've done a lot of fishing with. This guy right here, when the first start coming up, that's that tail getting messed up that Matt's gonna yell at me for. This one, they first start coming up, they got that pink purpley hue to it. Very, very good. You can see again, that was a 22 was this one. He puts the date on the top of it. So we got that guy. And then we got one more big one. This is a special one. This one's like a work of art. Caught a couple fish on this one. I don't fish it all that much. I like looking at this one more than anything. This one was a 23. You can see it's a foiled one, so Keith will hand foil them, put the texture on there, and paint them and make them all nice and pretty. And you don't get much more realistic looking than that. It's unbelievable. He gives these, or not gives them away, but he'll auction these off through the, I think it's an Ike Foundation, their charity dinner maybe. Go to their website or reach out to them. They might be able to tell you. He's done it the last 2 or 3 years, so I would bet he's going to do it again. And he'll make one that is just absolutely beautiful. So that's that guy. And then let's go to this one. This one's one of those. This is a bull shad. I actually had this probably before that Gancraft. I used to catch fish in my pot. I know I had this before that. This was probably 2000. This might be like 2010, 11, somewhere in there. I feel like I got this in while I was still in college. And caught quite a few fish on it. Swims awesome. It's jointed, so instead of being a glide bait where it makes a big wide S turns, this guy will swim on it. The stop starts, that really gets him going. I think this is a 4-inch bait versus one of those baits that are 10 inches, so you can see, maybe a 2.5, but big difference in what you're throwing there. Gotta have different rod reel set up. Those big ones, I'm throwing that on a Dobbins Champion. It's a, I think it's a 894, if I remember right, or 804, something like that. I'd have to look at my rod. I don't remember that offhand, but they make a really good one. It makes a big difference when you're casting those things out there. The next one, oh, this guy, I really like this one. So this one isn't one of Keith's, which the majority of my baits are Keith's baits. This is a Swimbait Garage Hyper Shad. This one, it's a killer little bait. It's got the perfect size, shape to it. Very eatable for the bass. So whether you're catching 2-pounders on this or you're catching 8+s, like this catches them all. When we go fishing, my wife will throw this one a lot, and she does some work with it. Definitely worth checking out. I think they're a little easier to get too, but Swimbait Garage Hyper Shad. I have actually a backup one. This one doesn't ride around the boat. This one's just at the house. I actually want to get this one painted. I think you could do something cool with it and be a little different, but I like the bone one too. This guy, real naturally, there's something about that color that bass really like to eat. So we got those two. And then what else do we got? Should we go to my next favorite one, which I don't actually see the one. I'll show you one that's very similar to it. So this is the Dink. This one right here is basically the small version of the Donk. The Dink, the Donk. Fun little names for them. This guy, it's a glide bait too, and little twitches, like it kind of gets that little more rolling action as it goes. It straight up gets chewed, like there's no doubt. There's been some modifications to this one over the years that have made it better as well. I have a bone one that looks, it's kind of like that. It's more like this color almost. Actually, that's a lie. That's a muscle hamster. So let me get back. I'll circle back to that. Let's show you the couple dinks I got in here. We got that guy. We got this foiled one. This one's a smallie killer. They can't stand that pink color. So right here, it's just got the foiled sides on it, a little pink, darker. Both of those, I never noticed that. This one's got a tie that way and the other one's there. So a little different. They're both really good baits. You get a lot of bites on those. If you can get one from them, definitely worthwhile checking out. The next one, we got another. So this is the, I don't know the official name he has for it, but it's like the Ding 2.0 essentially. So he took this guy and he drastically improved it. So you can see the tail's got a little bit wider wagon action versus this one kind of tight. This one can really flop to the side. And a lot of that has to do with the joint where he kind of hinged it inside there, so it makes it a little different. This one you can actually pull the pin. Ouch, that's a sharp hook. You pull the pin out, separate it if you wanted to add some weight in there, sink it, or however you want to fish it. You can make this a little different. You could also, he was telling me, and I haven't done this, I believe you could twist those and turn those a little bit, and you can adjust how tight the swim is. So that's a little different. I'll get my ring hooked here. But this one here, I really like this color. Good, again, smallmouth color. I catch a lot of bass on this one. It's pretty slick. So we're gonna get that. Oops, I missed the pin. But yeah, this is the Dink 2.0 is what I'm gonna call it. I think that's what he calls it too. But it was just a upgrade in the design. It swims a little bit better, and it is just a killer little bait. So we got those ones. Then let's go to, what do we want to do next? Let's do the KGB. So this is a KGB. If you guys have seen him, he became huge with that frog that he designed years ago. And then now he's got the Chad Shad, which we're gonna have to break into the second box because this box was full. I don't even carry the Chad Shads out in the boat all the time anymore. But this one, when the crappie are spawning and the bass are taking advantage, you're going to want to have this one in the boat. Does a very good job. You can see it's very realistic. It looks just like a black crappie. And it's got nice wide wobble. You want to throw that on a fairly big rod. I don't know the exact weights on it, but I would say it's probably 3 ounces somewhere in there. But that guy, very, very good bait. KGB makes a very good bait just in general. So we got that. Then we got, oh, here's another Dink. Oh, this one, I lost the biggest smallie. I'll put Beltsville in a guide trip once on this guy. It was somewhere in the 5 something range. Big old pre-spawner. Again, that one's got the kind of foil color. It's got that chartreuse stripe on it, which makes it very good. This was This was a 23 black talon, so a couple years old, but I fished this one a lot. It's got beat up a little bit. Again, foiled, so good one there. And then let's go with the newer one. This is one of the newer ones I've gotten in the last 6-8 months. This is a Johan Glide. He's out of Florida. One of my buddies was fishing. He has I think it's a shiner. It's actually on my rod that's in my truck, so I won't be able to show you that one. But this is the bluegill. I have not fished this yet. I'm going to use that this spring when those bluegill get up and start spawning. But that guy, you're going to be able to swim around. It looks like just a nice sunfish. You can see it's painted really well. I like the idea of it. I just haven't put any time in with it. So once I do that, it'll be good to know exactly what I got. But pretty, nothing else. The next one. Here's one of a couple of these little guys. Go to these 2 after that. This guy. And I haven't, these are 2 that I carry around everywhere I go. And again, it's around that bluegill spawn if I was fishing a tournament with those. These are Matt lures, California guy. I actually had these in the soft baits back in, I was probably in high school still, like 2007, 8, somewhere in there. Maybe 6 even. West Coast thing. And then they came out with a, I think they call them the hard gill. And that one's kind of got that glide bait action. This one's more of a swimmer where you can swim it and it's got the whole body moving. They're not super big, but they are definitely worthwhile. There's a couple local lakes that the fish will get heavy on bluegills during the summer and spawn and all that sort of stuff. So you want to check those out. They're worthwhile. I need to put more time in with them, honestly, but you can only throw one of these at a time, and you got your favorites that you got confidence in, and it's hard to put them down sometimes. So we got those 2. Then we got one more small one. These things just keep coming out of this box. You can tell I really like, this is a dink, but this is actually the fat dink. And Keith made this for when we went striper fishing one time. We went off the beach, him and Elmer, and I think Kyle was there. They pounded on the stripers like 2 days before I went down with them. Of course, the day we went, the stripers were gone. They were off the beach. There was nothing, no fish in miles to be slid. But it's built really beefy to handle those big 30 to 50 pound stripers. I took the big hooks off of it and actually just put some Hayabusa. These are the TBL 930s. They are the ones that I use on, they're size 1s. But what I use on my crankbaits and that sort of stuff, jerk baits. And this guy, I've caught quite a few smallies on it. You know, that chartreuse, you get a little dirty water, like that stuff. That's very, very good with them. The next one, let's do another brand. This is Toxic Baits. This is a crank down one. To be honest, I don't remember the name of it, to be honest, like, for certain. I don't know if it says it on it. This one I use a decent bit on a couple lakes that I have, what do you call those? Carp. I don't want to blanket on that. So you can see the carp pattern that's there. It looks a lot like a baby carp, and you just reel it down. This thing gets like 3-4 foot. Gets a good wobble to it. It's a fish catcher. There's no doubt about that. You catch a lot of fish on this guy. They're made to catch fish. The other one I have, again, it's in my truck. I think it's called the Whippersnapper. It's a bluegill. It's a jointed 2-piece, but it's a wake bait, so it goes on the surface and the tail kicks. Very, very good one too. I'll show you guys that at some point. But that guy there. Then where do we want to go next? We got, let's save the 2. We got 2 that are, I don't think Keith has made very many of them. But this one here, this is the AFL shad. This guy is very, very good. It's a bigger profile bait, so when you're fishing around real big ones, this is something you want to use. But it looks like that gizzard shad. Keith actually took a gizzard shad, I believe, and molded it off of that. And As he was doing that, he like actually formed it to be like the perfect size, shape, and all that to mimic them. You can see it's got a little wider belly. It kind of goes, but so it's got a real like dynamic swimming action is what I'm trying to get at. Again, this one's got that little pin so you can take it apart if you wanted to. Um, his hook hangers, I really like this. So they actually spin on them. So you can see there that spin, spin, spin. So when you hook those big fish, they can't get the leverage and throw it. It actually will spin on them, so it gets away from them. That AFL shad, I got a couple. I got this nice pretty one. And then I got this guy that was a raw that I believe he told me he took spray paint, put it on a paper towel, and he like dabbed this up and made it look like an injured one. Turned out pretty cool. I really like that one too, and it's the same thing. It's got those big hook hangers on it. So we got those two. We got one more AFL shed that is a raw. That guy here does you can see that one. I've caught a couple fish on this guy that it's when you're fishing around those big gizzards, that's when you want to have this one in your hand. If you're fishing around some of the smaller gizzards, then this guy here, this is the GP shad, I believe he calls it. Honestly, I haven't put enough time in with this one. I need to put more time in with it. This one, again, he's got those rotating hangers, pulls out. I really like the size of it. I don't know why I haven't fished it more. It's one that when it's in the box, I haven't caught it. I haven't fished it, so I haven't caught fish on it, and I don't have confidence because of that. So that's on me, not on the bait, but that's a cool little guy. Then what else we got? We got two more. So this one, let's do this one first. This one here is called the Dean, and this was an early one. This is in 22. Keith made this specifically for Pete Glusick from Bass University, one of these, because he wanted a bait that mimicked a white perch. So you can see it has that white perch shape to it. It's got like that hump to him, and it's a cool little glide. Keith was fishing this with me the one day when we went down to the Chesapeake Bay where there's a ton of white perch. He caught a bunch of 4-pounders on it. It was an impressive day. He was trying to actually catch a snakehead on it, and I don't believe he ever got one. He might have hooked one that day on it, but yeah, that's the kind of deal with that. And I don't think he made very many of these. I think I know Pete's got one. I'm sure Keith's got a couple of them, and my buddy Kyle's got one, but there's not too many of these out there, so that's definitely a prized possession of mine. And then this one, I truly don't know if he has a name for it, or if he ever even designed more of these. But again, this is a wake, so it cranks down. Keith made this, I think probably last year or 2 years ago for me. Cranks down, tail kicks. Good when you're around bass spawning, bluegill spawning, or bass spawning. This thing kicks off a lot of water, really makes them racket, and the bass can't stand it. So you can see it's that 3-piece, makes a lot of noise, moves a lot of water, and it catches a lot of fish. This one you can see there's a bunch of teeth marks on the top of it. I don't know if that's gonna show up or not with the glare of everything, but that's what's in this box currently. Let me jump down. I should have had both boxes here because there's a lot of good stuff in there. So let me grab that, and I'll go through that one. Maybe I'll grab those other 2 baits out of my truck. Then we can finish off my glide baits, and you can see everything I got. And then if you have any questions, put them in the comments below about it. But yeah, thanks for following along, and we'll get to it here in a second.